Good morning, Kansas City. Welcome to Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM. I am Kevin Kietzman. Great to have you with us. As all this fog and clouds are going to be breaking, looks like we're going to have some good weather. You just heard the weather update there. Heading into a nice weekend, a nice fall weekend. Trick-or-treaters, pumpkins out. We got Thanksgiving right around the corner. It's a fun time of year. It's a great time to be with family, and it's a great time to be with all our friends here at KCMO Talk Radio. Thanks for being a part of the show today. We got some great topics, including Lee Sterling from Paramount Sports, who will join us coming up at 10:30. We're going to talk a little NFL, get his thoughts on the Chiefs and Bills, and ask about, if you haven't heard this story, this is really interesting. This kind of transcends football. I like to talk about issues in sports that everybody can relate to. The new owner of the Colts is the daughter of the owner that died. And she is changing the way you own a football team in almost every possible way. And the Colts are 7-1. They're currently the 1 seed in the AFC. We will ask Lee if she is transforming ownership in the NFL or just lucky to this point. Because I don't have the answer for you. I wish I knew. But this is something else. They were comparing her to Bill Belichick's girlfriend for a while because she hangs out at practice. She's on the sideline. She listens on the headset. She does all this stuff. But she unloaded at a news conference this week about why she's doing it, and she recommends it to all the other owners. And it's going to be a great discussion. You'll enjoy that. We'll talk with Mark just a little bit about robots and our own spacecraft today. I've already shown him one video. We'll see what he thinks, and we'll get into the World Series a little bit as the Toronto Blue Jays have taken a 3-2 lead. But we start today with a topic that I approached about, maybe 5 or 6 weeks ago. It's been longer than that because I've mentioned this a couple of times. I learn a lot from listening to Pete's show. Okay? I learn a lot. Now, I've kind of had a man crush on Josh Hawley for the last few years because I love it when he's in those Senate hearings and he just goes into people and rips them apart because he's really good at doing that. Normally, it's a Democrat who doesn't have a leg to stand on, and it's relatively easy to do if you're a smart guy like Josh Hawley and a lawyer and all these things. And he goes into it, and I love it. I love the way he exposes people and twists them sideways, and they start squirming. I love that. I think he's great for the state of Missouri, and I am still a Josh Hawley fan, but I've heard on many occasions Pete say, you know what, I'm not sure what Hawley's game is here and why he's moving to the middle and why he's taking this stance on something. Like, is he going to run for president? What is it he's going to do? Why is he trying to work his way as some sort of a centrist? I can't answer that. Josh Hawley wouldn't answer it publicly, I don't think, if you asked him, but he's clearly doing it, and it makes you wonder if this is who he is. Because the latest has me bothered. If you're listening to the show this week, you know that I am sick and tired of hearing about 42 million people on food stamps. I think it's a joke. I think it's a complete and utter joke. That implies to me that 42 million people in America are starving. Okay? Like we see these commercials late at night where they show you these kids in some faraway African country with flies flying around on their lips, and you can see their ribs, and they're nothing but a skeleton with some skin on it, and you just feel terrible, and you want to donate money, and you want to help them out, and you want to send them food, and I get that. I don't know where those people are in America. I've not seen them. So I've talked about this week, and I've gone into it plenty. You've heard it if you've been listening to the show. But Josh Hawley last night was on making comments about we can't let 42 million people starve in America. We got to reopen the government and do this. And then he writes an op-ed piece for the New York Times about it. Josh Hawley's story in the New York Times is, quote, we cannot let 42 million Americans go hungry. I want to ask Josh Hawley how many of the 42 million are Americans. I don't think it's half. The money we're spending on SNAP has doubled since Joe Biden took office, and I think we know why. Illegal aliens are gobbling up the food stamps. This thing is a joke. This is another giant government program that's broken and doesn't work. It's another un-American thing where you take money from those who do and hand it to those who don't. I'll never tell you that there aren't 1 million or 2 people in America that need some help. I'm not going to tell you that. I believe in the safety net, but the safety net can't be the spaghetti drainer It's got to be a big fat cheese grater where most of the people slip through and go down into the bowl or whatever, and the ones who really need it stay in the sifter. And that's not a lot of people. So I've heard Pete say these things about Josh Hawley, and now I saw these posts from Ann Coulter, who in a way has been canceled by a lot of people because she's out there, but she was the first person, and I think it was on HBO, it was on maybe Bill Maher's show on HBO or something. She was the first person back in 2015 to say, well, there's 27 people in the Republican primary, who's going to win? And before the question got out of his mouth, Ann Coulter said, Donald J. Trump. And they all laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed at her. Now, she's kind of tough and she's kind of out there on some things, but she has just gone after Josh Hawley. She's officially suggesting that he is moving to the left and leaving the Republican Party. She said, when the New York Times publishes your op-ed without a disclaimer and you're a Republican, things have gone seriously wrong. In other words, Josh Hawley's in bed now with the New York Times. Is he thinking about running in 28? Why on earth would he think he could beat out J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio? I don't know what his game is, but I don't like this story he wrote. I don't like him championing this thing. She responded to Josh Hawley with a tweet, he said, 42, we cannot let 42 million Americans go hungry. And she replied, 40 million of them can get jobs. And I think she's right. I stand with Ann Coulter on this. I think the entire thing is a fraud. Between those that could work, between those that are illegal aliens, between those that are just flat deadbeats that want to sit at home and play video games or do whatever, this is not the hill for Republicans to die on. This is not the reason to cave. And you know the Republicans are going to cave. They've said all along, we got a clean resolution. This is all we're going with. That's it. It's our only offer. And I'm good with that. And if we can get to January 1st like that, there's going to be some hardship. It's going to stink. We're going to have to take some of that tariff money and give it to the military, maybe pay some air traffic controllers. Superman's flying home right now. I don't think he's landed yet in D.C. You know Superman's on his way home. Superman's going to come back and find a way to pay the military and the air traffic controllers if that's our problem. And then he's going to say, I'm going to partially fund SNAP. And we got to get to work on cleaning this thing up because it is broken. It is wrong. There is no way it's 42 million people. And nobody in D.C. is saying this. See, these people that work in Congress, they think the government is so important. Like they want it open more than we do. And they're getting paid. They just love government. They love the machine. Maybe they're not getting their kickbacks right now. Maybe their lobbyists aren't taking them to dinner right now. Maybe some of the perks and fun of what they do has dried up on them, and that's why they want to open it. But whatever it is, these people love government. I love less government. And we've had less government for a month, folks. And I know I'd get calls. It's affected me. I've got this problem. I got a call yesterday. Me and my mom and my 7 cats live together, and I need the stamps. I'm like, okay, you need the stamps. She's driving DoorDash. She's doing whatever. Can't get a job in the tech world. I don't know. I don't know, man. I just know we're not all the same, and I know that 42 million people aren't starving. The statistics show that 70% of the people are obese that get food stamps. We've seen what they buy. We've watched the viral videos. Most of these people are crazy. They're grifting. They're stealing. I'm with Ann Coulter, and I'm worried about Josh Hawley. And I can't believe that I'm saying I'm worried about Josh Hawley. But in times of stress like this, you learn these things. J.D. Vance was a rock star last night at Ole Miss. No other way to describe it. Never seen anything like it. A vice president of the United States standing at a podium in front of 10 to 12,000 people, answering questions, some of them that were really stupid, unvetted, nervous kids. This was not planned. Hey, put your question in before you get here and we'll line you up. And it was not one of those things. It wasn't a CNN town hall for a Democrat. This was real. It was raw. It was honest. A couple of people got in his face. A young student from India got all over him, about immigration. It was great. He handled it beautifully. If he can do that, no notes, no nothing. He just stands there and does it and was as good as he was last night. I'm not sure what J.D. Vance cannot do. He was terrific. He basically just knocked it out of the ballpark with almost everything that he did. If you didn't get a chance to watch part of the Turning Point USA event, at Ole Miss. There's clips all over the internet. You might want to go check them out. J.D. Vance was spectacular. Now, I think Marco Rubio would have been good at it too. I can't think of a Democrat that would be any good at it. And I think that's what's cutting through in America because we're living in honest times. The internet is real. It's unfiltered. There's no FCC regulations there to speak of. That's good and bad. But the truth is cutting through to a lot of people. Honesty, people who are genuine are getting noticed for being genuine. Like, oh, that's the real dude. That's not some fake thing. You know, I've tried to do that in my broadcasting career all these years. Like, just be myself. Here's who I am. This is what I'm about. You can ask the guys here. We talk in the hallway. Same animated dude, talks too much caffeine. I get it. But it's who I am. I'm not going to come here and try to be somebody fake on the radio. And Republicans right now are leading the field by miles in that area. They're genuine and they're real. Not all of them. I don't sense that with Josh Hawley. When I watch Josh Hawley, I see somebody who's a little guarded, a little polished, a little whatever. You don't. Pete just played a clip of John Thune yesterday. That was real. That was raw. That was genuine. That wasn't Chuck Schumer standing at a barbecue grill acting like he's flipping burgers that are sitting on the grill raw because the grill isn't on. We see all these terrible videos by these Democrats. They're fake. They're contrived. People spot that a million miles away now. J.D. Vance last night was real. And where people disagreed with him, they give him a pass a little bit. That's the same thing with Donald Trump. You give him a little bit of a pass when you don't agree with him because you're like, well, he's being real. He's absolutely being real. It was quite an event last night for J.D. Vance. That being said, I'll give you one more thought on the Turning Point event, and we can get your thoughts. God bless Erica Kirk. God bless those children. This has been a horrific tragedy that has touched a lot of us, unnerved yours truly, for sure. I can't tell you why. Maybe this is the dad in me. I don't know. I really want her to take her family and go be alone for a long time and make sure everything's okay. Don't worry about the business. Don't worry about the husband's legacy. Don't do these public events. She's still in crazy mourning. She just got all teared up and was bawling her eyes out again last night. I want something better for them. I want her to be around family. I want her to get away from politics for a while, clear her head and decide, is this what I want to do? I don't think she's thought it through. And my opinion is, I think people are pushing her to do this. That's me. For their own gain. And I don't like it. I didn't like watching her last night. It made me uncomfortable the whole time. Terribly uncomfortable. 913-408-7957 is the number to call. If you'd like to join the show, we can take your call next. Lee Sterling will join us at 10:30. We're going to talk about the female owner that's shaking up the NFL and how she's doing it. It's all ahead on Uncanceled.
From Leewood to Liberty, it's Kevin Kietzman, Uncanceled, on 95.7 FM KCMO Talk Radio.
Phone lines are open if you'd like to join us, 913-408-7957. It is unbelievable to have watched Karine Jean-Pierre all those years stand at the White House and lie through her teeth for Joe Biden and all the people covering up for him. And then she's so sickened by what she saw, she becomes the only honest person. Like, this was gross. This whole thing was gross. I feel dirty. I'm leaving the party. She writes a book called Independent and goes on a book tour. And it's crazy because, not very many people on the right care that she's on this book tour. They're laughing at her. They didn't like her when she was there. We made fun of her, whatever. She's DEI hire, whatever you want to say. But it's the people on the left now that are just crushing her because she left the party. People, Democrats, operatives, are calling her book tour, quote, a car crash. Another person called it, this is a story in the Washington Post, a baby fighting Mike Tyson or a toddler falling into the deep end of the pool. We're like, yeah, we've been saying that for years about her. This is unbelievable. To watch Democrats turn on Democrats is just the most fun ever. And she's just getting clobbered. She's got nobody on her side now. I don't know where she goes from here. I don't know what it means. In a way, in a very small way, I feel bad for her. But in a bigger way, I'm happy for her that she learned that her party is full of disingenuous people that will just do anything to win elections. And it's not much more than that. It's not any deeper than that the substance isn't there. Now, I'm not sure she thinks of it in those terms. I don't think she's the brightest bulb, but I mean, getting out of that party, learning what they're about, and getting out of that party must be the most liberating thing there is. All right, to the phones we go. Here's Steve in KC. What's up, Steve?
Hey, Kev. I've been wondering the same thing about Josh Hawley too, and I'm going to try to explain it, and maybe I won't do a very good job of it, but let me take a whirl at it. I think what Josh is doing here is he's trying to do MAGA light for the primaries. You see Glenn Youngkin has already declared a state of emergency and funded SNAP benefits. If Josh does this...
Are you talking about for president?
Oh, yeah.
Why would he be in the race in 28? Why would he even think about that?
To set up a potential vice presidential candidacy. I think this is exactly what's happening, because if you set yourself up as MAGA light like Glenn Youngkin or Hawley, you're in second place. You're in second place behind J.D. or Rubio right off the bat.
You may be right. You may be right about what he's doing. I'm asking why. He can't win. He will never get Trump's endorsement. It's not possible. What he's doing, is he assuming Trump's going to be dead by then or something? Because Josh Hawley's play is to stay out of this for years and wait until the Trump effect is gone and then do his thing. He's not a Trump guy. He's not going to become president while Donald Trump's alive.
Well, 3 years is a long time. We don't know what will happen with. I think
we
Rubio's
do.
strongest.
We know who Trump endorses wins.
Well, I'm still not completely sold on JD, but I think Rubio is the strongest. But I don't think this is Kevin. I don't think this is entirely crazy when you see what Glenn Youngkin is doing. And if Josh doesn't do it now, it may be 2040 before.
Well, whatever. He's a young guy. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares?
I mean, he's from Missouri. I don't care.
It's not his time. It's not even close to his time. That can't be what this is. My concern, Steve, is that this is who he is. That he's not doing this for politics. That this is who he is. That's a concern.
I think you're right. I think you're completely right there. I think he's, like you said, he's revealing himself who he is. But I mean, we have that. We have rhinos that elect Sharice Davids in Johnson County. That we have Glenn Youngkin. There is that vein of MAGA light, or whatever you want to call it, 1,000 points of light, George W. Bush. But I mean, like you said, I don't think his time is now.
No,
but it's not the worst idea to.
That's the worst.
Vice president.
I'm going to have to disagree with you today, Stephen. I love your call, man. I love your passion. I got to disagree with you today. It is the worst thing. It's not a good idea. It's not if it's for politics. It's not a good idea. And he's writing columns for the New York Times. I mean, what It feels like it has to be politics or he's changing dramatically. And I wasn't paying any attention to this. I learned all this from Pete over the last few months. He's like, what is he doing on this issue? What's he thinking here? What's going on? Is he trying to set something up? A presidential run, Josh Hawley, after Trump? You think that's the lane? And maybe the caller's right that he could poll higher as being the rhino in this, but I don't think so. I don't think he'd outpoll DeSantis, who maybe missed his opportunity by not just ponying up to Trump. I mean, I'll tell you what, right now, if you took JD, Marco, and DeSantis, and you asked me who I think on day one would be the best president, it's probably DeSantis. I mean, he's been an executive. He's been crushing it in Florida. He's doing all kinds of great things still in Florida, and he's not getting the credit and attention for it because he's not part of the Trump cabinet. But he's probably the most ready to be president. But he's not nearly as good a politician. When he goes out and campaigns and stumps and does all those things, he just doesn't have that. He doesn't have that thing that voters like. You know what I mean? But I think he'd be great at it. I think he'd absolutely be great. All right, coming up next, Lee Sterling will join us from ParamountSports.com. If you haven't heard this story, Carly Ursay Gordon is the new owner of the Indianapolis Colts, and she took a deep dive on how to own a football team. We'll talk about that next.
From Lenexa to Lee Summit, it's Kevin Kietzman. Uncanceled on 95.7 FM KCMO Talk Radio.
Welcome back to Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM. Glad to have you with us today. In just a couple of moments, Lee Sterling will be joining us from ParamountSports.com. We're going to talk a little bit about this really interesting story. Well, the Chiefs and Bills, of course. He's our pro football expert. And an interesting thing that's going on with the Indianapolis Colts that not a lot of people are talking about. They were talking about it perhaps more at the beginning of the year because the new owner of the Colts, Carly, you may know the name Irsay, the dad died, and the kids have the team, and Carly's in charge of it. Her name is Carly Irsay Gordon, and early on, she was compared to basically Bill Belichick's girlfriend. Like, what is this owner doing hanging around at practice, paying attention to everybody? There's still a thing that goes on with a lot of dudes in football that the whole sexist thing, if you want to go there, is like, oh, yeah, this lady owner is going to come in and really change things up. It's almost like the premise of some movie, a comedy where the daughter inherits the team and takes it over. Well, this team is now 7-1, and she's doing things completely differently as an owner. They're currently the 1 seed in the AFC. Lee Sterling joins us now from ParamountSports.com. He's our NFL guru who joins us on the program. Lee, how are you today, my friend?
I'm really good, and you know what? I don't have a problem with it.
No,
I think this is an owner that finally gets it.
Okay, this is interesting because I kind of do too. But, okay, so we've got the very calm, relaxed, conservative Clark Hunt here in Kansas City. He would no more stand on a sideline during a game and listen to the play calls and watch everything that's going on than the man in the moves. But if Jerry Jones did it, people would say he's interfering too much. He's wrecking his team. The owner has no business doing that. She came in and said, I want to learn. I want to know how this all works. I want to know what the coaches are calling. I want to see how it's executed. This week she had a news conference. She said, if you're paying tens of millions of dollars to a coaching staff, a GM, and a football staff, you want to know who's full of BS and who's not, and I'm finding that out. I mean, this is unbelievable what she's doing.
You know what? As long as she doesn't overstep her boundary and she doesn't make mistakes like a Jerry Jones or some of these other owners. I mean, we've seen different degrees and different situations. Like, look at the Miami Dolphins owner, Stephen Ross. He ended up tampering with a head coach and also a quarterback and cost his team a first and a third round pick. As long as she wants to learn and she's observing and she sees the product. Hey, there's nothing wrong with it. You don't have to be an ex-coach to understand what's going on. We've seen some of the best coaches didn't play the game, so they are able to observe. They're able to take what they see and be able to use it. And there's a lot of things involved. But so far, I think she's doing a great job. And until she messes up, I'm behind her.
It's pretty cool. She's not trying to call plays. She's not trying to interfere, but she gave a great example. She said, I hear the play come in, and I'll be okay, and then something goes wrong, and I've learned that what happened on the play was not the player's fault. When they call a play, Lee, it's like they say 7 different things in there depending on what position you play. It's just your assignment as a lineman or the slot receiver or whatever, and she'd be like, if you miss one of those calls or if it gets lost in translation to the quarterback and then to the team, the play can be botched. And this is a team that's 7-1. And she's basically saying, you can't believe how often the coaches screw up. I love this. I've never heard an owner say that. And they're 7-1. So when she says it, she's like, can you imagine what bad teams are doing screwing up?
Yeah. So it's working right now. It just shows you don't need a franchise quarterback to go to the playoffs and go far in the playoffs. We've seen some quarterbacks, going back to Brad Johnson from Tampa Bay, Trent Dilfer. These are guys that have won Super Bowls. So I give them credit. I think the coaching staff's doing a great job here. And, everyone thought that their defensive coordinator, who was at Cincinnati, was the problem. Well, it turns out that's not the case. The personnel is bad. They can't cover anyone, and they don't want to engage. So he knew when to get back. You think Lou Aranama is smiling today?
Right. Yeah. How many other owners do you think have called her and said, tell me more about what you're doing?
None.
I agree.
Yeah.
You think the other owners are largely sexist and would stay away from that, or do you think that belongs at an owners meeting somewhere when they're having dinner? Where would
No.
something like that belong between owners? Do you think?
Well, the thing is that this is, even though it's a copycat league and you'll probably some other owners, you'll see probably next year quite a few. I bet you see 2 to 4 other owners start doing this. But the problem here is they're not going to say, "Hey, what are you doing? You know, what are you doing as an owner to be successful?" And to be honest with you, I don't think she's going to be so forthright either. That's just the way it is. This is a very competitive league, and most of these people who are owners are very competitive people.
Yeah. I love when she said, they said, should other owners be doing this? And she said, I would suggest to anyone that pays millions and millions of dollars to employees that they find out who's full of BS and who's not. That's really her mission, is to find out who there is full of crap.
She wants to get the most bang for her buck. So
right. I can't blame her.
She's going to know if she's smart enough, she's going to figure out who's good and who's bad. So far, going pretty darn well.
Yeah. At 7-1, she looks really smart. All right, let's talk a little Chiefs-Bills this week. Last year, this game was the highest-rated game of the year. It got 31 million viewers for CBS. When the schedule comes out every year and the Chiefs are playing the Bills, CBS drafts this as their number one game. In an oddity, it will probably get a bigger rating and bigger number this week than Sunday Night Football, but that can happen in some weeks. How much does America love this game just from the entertainment value? Now, I know people love rooting against the Chiefs, but isn't this just such a big game because it's always entertaining?
Yeah, I mean, these are probably the 2 best quarterbacks in the NFL. 2 teams, one that has won multiple Super Bowls and one that's been knocking on the door. And let's be honest, Josh Allen is a likable guy. He's not doing anything wrong. He's not getting arrested. He is a incredible talent. But I'm going to be honest with you. Right now, there's no comparison. This Kansas City team is clicking on all cylinders. Unless Patrick Mahomes has just one of his worst games, I can't see him losing the game. When he drops back right now, he's making decisions early and often. And then in the cases where that first or second receiver is covered, he's buying time and receivers are wide open. So he's finally got his full complement of receivers or even running the football. And on the other side, Josh Allen's had to do more. I know his running back, James Cook, is great, but offensive line is so-so. His tight ends, they thought they were going to go in 12 formation, 1 running back and 2 tight ends more this year. That hasn't worked out like they'd like to when they need to throw the football. The receivers are not getting separation. And then on defense, they are going to possibly have 2 key starters back in linebacker Matt Milano and also defensive tackle Daquan Jones. But even if they are back, I don't think they're going to be 100% here. And then the third component, special teams. People forget about it. The Chiefs' special teams is playing super here. I'm going to keep riding Kansas City. Should be another shootout, but they finally win a regular season game here. It's going to be a fun one. Kansas City 37-30.
I love that. Chiefs are a 2-point favorite. That would cover. The Chiefs have been a cover. Chiefs haven't covered in like 3 years. They're covering a lot this year, so that's certainly a different thing. But, the Bills have had a tendency to win all these regular season games. The Chiefs used to do this. They used to have the Patriots come in here. They'd beat them in the regular season. Way back in the day when the Buffalo Bills were the kings of the AFC, they'd come in here and the Chiefs would pound them. They'd beat the Broncos in the regular season, and the Broncos would win the Super Bowl. That's kind of what the Bills have been. They win this game against the Chiefs. Maybe they need to lose this one in order to win a Super Bowl. I don't know. It's crazy, but
I don't know.
Should be a fun game.
Let's just have fun and root for the Chiefs here.
Lee Sterling with us from ParamountSports.com. We got a couple of college games here in our area. Missouri's off, but KU is licking their wounds from last week's beat down to Kansas State, a huge favorite over Oklahoma State. Kansas should roll in this game, right? But 24.5, the Jayhawks haven't been that good. What do you think in this one?
Well, Kansas, things started off so great for them last week. They get that fumble, score a touchdown, everything looks great, and then it's same old sad sack Kansas. The only good thing is they are playing a team that is so bad, playing a wide receiver quarterback that hasn't scored more than 17 points in a month, and they've allowed no fewer than 39 in their 5 Big 12 games here. Sometimes you got to lay it if you want to play it. Even with Kansas, I like Kansas big, 45-17.
A lot of folks believe Texas Tech is the best team in the Big 12. Their quarterback, Baron Morton, is back this week. They're in Manhattan to take on Kansas State, which is getting better. The line is 7 points. What say you, Lee?
Yeah, and Texas Tech was rolling here for a while here. Then they lose to Arizona State, which I don't think is that good. They lost another quarterback. Now this time Will Hammond's done for the year. Next time you see him will be in spring practice, if not in the fall. Oft injured Baron Morton, their starter, once again 1 hit away from leaving a game here. And they got to hit the road, take on a Kansas State team that all of a sudden is red hot. They've won 3 or 4, including the big rivalry game last week. Very good example here of a team that was hot early, which is the visitor, Texas Tech, which went into Utah and dominated Utah, versus a team that was cold early in Kansas State that was 1-3 on September 12th. Now all of a sudden shows you it's flipped around, and 12 games is a long season. Avery Johnson looks so composed here. Wrong team favored. Kansas State straight up 27-26. If you're in the area, you want to go to this game.
Oh, man, I love your picks all across the board here today, Lee. That's awesome. What will folks see if they go to ParamountSports.com to check out your site?
Okay, so we rate the games from 10 to 50 units. That way you know the strength of the play, and we rarely have, maybe about once a month, a 40 to 50 unit max wager. We're a career 73-29 on these games. How about this? First time ever in our 17 years rating them from 10 to 50 units, we have not 1, not 2, but 3 40 to 50 unit max wagers. So you want to hop on board? We don't call it November here. We call it Dovember. You can try us out. How about this? For the entire month, 5 weeks, if you use coupon code SAVE100 at the checkout box, brings it down to $397. That's about $80 a weekend, and you're going to get 12 to 14 plays on our phone service. So you want to hop on board the Dovember special, just one place, ParamountSports.com.
Lee, you're the best. Thanks for your time as always. We look forward to the games this weekend.
Thanks, Kevin.
All right, take care. He is Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com, our football expert guru. He is the man. When we come back on Uncanceled, we know about the hurricane that tore through the Caribbean. They're dealing in the aftermath in Jamaica with something you would have never thought of that's very dangerous. Now that all the dust is settled and the thing is cleared through, we'll explain what that is, and we're going to ask if Mark is getting a robot for the house to help with chores. Next on Uncanceled.
From Overland Park to Parkville, it's Kevin Kietzman, Uncanceled, on 95.7 FM KCMO Talk Radio.
So I think a lot of people saw the big hurricane that poured through the Caribbean, and I know a gentleman named Daniel Hanks who has a fine company, a landscaping company here in Kansas City, and he does a Christian ministry in Jamaica. And it was one where about 35 people for the Missouri Tigers football team this offseason went there, and they helped the people. It's not like a beach resort, folks. Don't think like that in Jamaica. This is up in the mountains. It's people that are not well-to-do. They live in, basically, the best way to describe it is they live in villages. They don't have a lot of stuff, and they go help them. And he was down there this week into the hurricane to help these people survive it. Now, they probably did pretty well up high in the mountains compared to the shoreline and things like that, but the hurricane obviously affected a lot of people. This story that I want to share with you is in the aftermath, and I don't want to make light of the hurricane or anything that happened to anybody in the Caribbean, because we know there were deaths throughout the Caribbean on the different islands. But the biggest problem that they have in Jamaica in the aftermath here is they are warning everybody that crocodiles could be behind you. Like literally the water comes up, the crocodiles come up with the water, they seek higher ground to stay dry, and they would get there, and then they keep climbing a little bit and get away from the water. And when the water recedes, they're coming back down. And there's going to be people going back into some of those levels where the water is to see their beach properties or around lagoons and things of that nature. Apparently, there's crocodiles everywhere trying to get back to the ocean at this point. Can you even imagine something like that?
A crocodile warning would be scary.
You looked them up yesterday. Are they bigger than alligators?
They're bigger than alligators. They're up to 1,600 pounds, I believe it is.
Dude, you showed me a picture yesterday of a guy like playing with a crocodile. What is that?
I don't know. I would not get near one.
I'm telling you, man, there is no way. Hey, we've got an update on the heist from the Louvre. Have you seen this, Mark?
I saw a little bit earlier.
Okay, you know I'm sort of fixated on this.
Oh, yeah.
$100 million worth of jewels taken from the Louvre in Paris. They've arrested 5 more people. That's 7 in custody. They thought there were only 4. It's getting bigger.
Bigger than what we thought.
Well, they're still looking for more. So they had inside help. They had all kinds of people. And if they found 5 more, the 2 people they had in custody apparently have cut deals.
I was going to say, they're squealing at this point.
They're going to only go to jail for like 18 months. They'll be out on the street. They believe one of the 5 they have now is the ringleader, and they'll learn all about it. I mean, I don't know anything about prisons in France, but how long are they going to put these people away? Is it even worth trying?
Yeah, you got to. I mean, that's such a big, I don't know if you'd call it a scam, but what were they going to do with that stuff? Sell it off? You can't sell stuff like that.
They thought their game was to take the diamonds out, destroy the pieces, and sell off the individual diamonds because they're all valuable. They would get rated as really nice diamonds, and you couldn't put it together. They could, one here in this country, one in that country. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know how to. All right, how about a home robot? You in on this?
Depends on the price, but it might be fun to have one.
Yesterday, a company called Neo debuted their home robot. It is creepy looking. It's basically a machine in, I don't know, what do they call it? Spandex? Like, it's just really weird looking. It will do all your chores. It shows all these things that it does around your house. It's $10,000. Apple and Tesla are both working on home robots. Like, this is going to be the next big thing. Can you envision a day where a robot is at your house doing your laundry and your chores?
I personally can't, but I could see how some people will enjoy that and take advantage of that.
Would you rather have the robot or the Jetson 1? The Jetson 1, now that's $128,000. It's basically a drone that you fly in. It's your own drone. You're flying a drone, but you're in it. It's got a roll cage on it. It's got 6 or 8 propeller blades. You wear a helmet, and you saw the video of it going around. These things are $128,000. Would you rather have the drone or the robot?
I mean, for fun, I'd like the drone. But,
Yeah.
I mean, for just around the house, I'd have to take the robot. It's cheaper. Get stuff done around the house that me and the wife wouldn't have to do. Yeah, that makes sense.
I think the Jetson 1 looks great. I
It
don't
looks
know.
cool.
I don't know where I could fly it, but I'll find somebody. I know some folks in Paola. There's got to be some land out there where I can fly it. I guess you pull it on a trailer and go out there and fly it. I don't think I can fly it from Lenexa to Paola. I could be wrong. Have you purchased Halloween candy yet?
We have some, yeah.
You have some,
Not
or
a
you
ton.
specifically got some for Halloween?
So we did a trunk or treat at our church last night.
Okay.
So we're just gonna have leftovers from that.
And you think it'll be enough?
Oh yeah, we don't have a ton of people come by.
How many you have typically? Like 20?
See, we go out and about with the kids, and then by the time we come back, it's kind of like.
So do you leave a basket?
We have, but we got one stolen, so we don't do that anymore.
They stole the basket.
They stole the whole basket.
That's really bad.
It was a Casey Wolf looking thing. It looked really cool, and then it was gone.
You seen the viral video of the little kid who went up to the house and it said, "Here's the basket, take one." Have you seen this?
Yeah.
And there's nothing in it, and he puts some of his candy in it.
I know, what a kid. That's good parenting, by the way.
Man, that is unbelievable that a kid would do that. The Blue Jays win back-to-back games. They're up 3 games to 2 in the World Series. They started the game last night with back-to-back home runs. It's stunning to see what they've done the last 2 nights. The Dodgers look terrified. They can't hit. Did you see this coming?
No, I thought they were going to win last night, and that rookie just went out there. Savage was savage. He just went out there and dominated.
The guy's name is Savage, 22 years old, and he did dominate. I guess he's from Pennsylvania. They interviewed him after the game. He was terrific. I can't believe that. I think the Dodgers have the number 1 payroll in baseball, right?
Yeah.
Like, and a lot of it's pitching, but up and down the lineup, just star power. Like, Mookie Betts can't buy a hit.
Yeah, they just look like they're lost at the plate.
You're too young to remember one of my favorite Royals of all time, who was a great player, got in the World Series in 1980. Willie Wilson couldn't buy a hit. He set a record for most strikeouts in a World Series that year. Oof. I think he hit like 320 that season, stole 1 million bases. They just had his number. They get the scouting report, then it gets in your head. The Dodger hitters look like it's in their heads, man, at the plate. We shall see. Game 6, Friday night. Game 7, Saturday night. That's it for Uncanceled. The Vince Show is coming up next. Thank you for listening to KCMO Talk Radio.